Alright, but yeah, we're continuing on from what just happened. And just cut off. Music started playing and shit. I don't know why. Anyway, so what I was saying was they didn't really rock with us, and you had that moment when you realized that. Could have been from the day you was born and on. And when I say your day you was born, I don't necessarily mean that you remember everything and that you were coherent. No, I'm saying like that by your home situation, looking back upon that when you got a little bit older and hearing certain things or remembering little spurts, maybe you realize what it really was. It's even in your own family, within your own family, that this was a problem. Especially if you come from a dark skin parent, light skin parent dynamic. That is key indicator that something's wrong there. So like that is a key indicator. But anyway, that's besides the point. So I wanted to talk about one big key factor in this whole thing, this whole ordeal with all these channels, the community that we have, and the challenges that we're facing as light-skinned people. I want to tell y'all that a big problem that we have, like a really big problem that we have, and that y'all seem not to understand, like I said, not putting our money where the mouth is, was this golden sphere has existed the longest. You need to look at our past mistakes when we were labeled as, we still are, a lot of us, you know, they don't really allow certain applications, you know, documents, it's hard to, you know, we are not our own recognized identity yet. So some of you have to identify as this. Sometimes there is no other on the page. You know, that just happened to me today. There is no other on the page. You have to put this or that. I personally don't even like to answer shit like that. You know. So, but for those who have fully been able to delineate and, you know, separate their personal identity, background, everything from these people, great, happy, but we still are not recognized. You know, even if multiracial is on the application, that's not enough, because we're talking about a certain group of people, you know, and anyway, that's besides the point. That's what. Damn, we're going all over the place sometimes. But okay, we need something called, how I like to refer to it. There's better terms for it, more proper terms. Economic circulation. No, I'm not talking about. No. And does that mean that we need to be just passing, oh, here's a dollar, here's a dollar, here's a dollar, here's a dollar. Everybody's gonna give everybody a dollar. I didn't say that. But I believe that in order to rise above these people who are our opposition, I mean, you gotta really think, these people are literally letting foreigners who may be, they definitely ain't the same. If you from up here, like, you know. If you from up north, like, you know, like, what I'm talking about. Like, you're letting people who are foreigners who it didn't help build any culture, taking the culture that us light-skinned people built and fought for, and giving it to them, and taking all the negative parts and amplifying them, or making certain shit negative that was never negative in the first place. And y'all don't realize, like I said, white people won't admit it. So the difference is, and even if they do, they put you in the same boat, and that reflects on you too. Puts a bad stigma around you. I mean, do we really give a fuck? No, because the whole goal in the end is for us to be as more powerful. We should be like a secret society. You know, I would hope that regardless, as a parent in general, but especially as a light-skinned person, no matter what skin color your kid is, that you would want them to have, I mean, whatever they want to do with their life is what they want to do. But try to get your kid to lean towards doing certain things in life. You know, we need to get lawyers, more lawyers, anybody who is, or first responders. We need more connections. This shit should be like a secret order or something. As light-skinned people, at least we should have, how do I put it, like people who oversee what's going on, you know, pushing our own celebrities. And when I was in reference to economic circulation, whether that be, hey, these are light-skinned owned businesses, okay, I'm buying this big name brand, and honestly it's not really doing nothing for me, but we could test out, you know, obviously we still have, you can't have subpar you know, products just buying from somebody, because we want us to be the best. But if it's we want us to be the best versions of ourselves as light-skinned people, and to push greatness or people who are trying. So if it's a shitty product, it's like, look, work on this, maybe you can add this and this, and then maybe I'll become a frequent buyer. You know, that's how it should be. But if you have somebody of the light skin hue who's a part of our community, you know, we could frequently buy from, whether it be, even if they sell soap, they have their own cologne line, whatever they do, like clothes, I don't know, whatever they do, if it's something bigger than that, you know, whatever business model, whatever, we should be supporting it, buying from that, working to get, you know, lodges, community centers, this and that, whatever, like, for us. Because it's going to get to the point where you're going to need all that. Schools, all that. Because, listen, we don't want to be like fucking, when we had to struggle throughout that black title because of these people had to live in these certain areas and live in these trifling conditions because of their narratives, or with these horrible family dynamics. That's another thing I wanted to get into. I'm gonna get to that after. But you don't want to be like black people. See, I mentioned I had made another video. I just told you, with the African brother who's talk about the Christopher White situation in New Jersey. He got shot at the beach, and he was actually targeted because people were jealous of him being light skinned and his looks, you know, and his clout and everything. They targeted him, allegedly. I still might post that video, so a lot of this I may be just repeating what I said in the other video, but I probably still might drop the video because it was real, raw, and authentic, even if y'all didn't feel like it was like, you know, at the end of the day, that's the person I am. But yeah, like I said, so I don't like to bring up black topics, but we made the same mistakes because we were groomed in a certain way, and it's kind of fucked up. But so think about the crack era, heroin. Even now, we have a whole bunch of light-skinned brothers or sisters who are engaging in the illegal activity I was talking about earlier. Probably selling to people that look just like them, other light-skinned people. And it's fucked up either way. We're humans at the end of the day. So selling, you don't have any principles or morals. If it's just about you. I mean, I get it. You are the main character in your story, but you have to. Anyway, but I will say one thing. And so I have a very peculiar, or I guess you could say, unique outlook. I was going to get into this before, but I was just twisting all around. Didn't know what I wanted to say when I wanted to say it. But so my unique outlook on the crack heroin issue throughout all these generations is that was black people's reparations. You can be like, what the fuck did you just say? Like, because a lot of us, we had to deal with it being within that title. And I'm going to tell you why. And I said this in the other video that I'm probably going to post. So it's going to be like, this is basically just a review of that. Except for I didn't post that first. So, why I say this? Because, think about it. Do you know how much money these dealers were making? What did they go do with this money? Now, it would be really hard to do this today. But back then, there were drug dealers who were buying houses cash. Getting into certain businesses, using them as fronts, instead of wanting to go to legit because they're greedy motherfucking bastards. Could you think that every fucking family, sadly, whether your family light skin, dark skin, you will see brown skin, you will see anybody who's ever been, even if you were forced into the black collective, and to have to adhere to their narratives and their ideology, their bullshit. You have multiple people, especially if you grew up in a certain area. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have multiple people that were drug dealers. A lot of light-skinned brothers and sisters in that too. And what the fuck did they do? Are we gonna go live lavish, but I live in the projects? That was your reparations. And the government knew that. The government couldn't get everybody. They wasn't gonna be able to seize everybody's properties and everything because I feel like they bought it illegal. If they would have bought one investment property, held on it for a few years, put some equity into it, flipped it, kind of set that a little bit off, but you know what I mean. Add more values to the property gradually that they bought with, you know what I'm saying, cash. But you can't do that. Like, now they're gonna want to know where that money comes from. You want to get into a business, you need credit. Type of money little motherfuckers is making, still would have worked on my credit. But You know, they was over here buying grills and watches and fucking them little fist ring systems, 4-finger rings, trying to flex and everything. And a lot of us were guilty of this shit too, because that's what we were, ignorant shit. So we don't want to be like bad people. These motherfuckers was giving their reparations. That's what you don't understand. That was the best time for them. And it sounds horrible. And why I say it was the best time, I also want to elaborate on that, because you're going to be like, oh, well, you sound like a fucked up individual because you already see what happens. Crack babies. And being born addicted. Nigga, that affected people I know personally, so I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm saying you're going to break your community. If you're going to break your community because these people put it out there, you're going to break your community. Yeah. Because you couldn't convince me that shit was true enough, that some wannabe hood chemist came up with the idea to make crack. No, that was the elites. You can tell me that these motherfuckers who don't even realize they're being played was smart enough to do that. I don't give a fuck who it was. We already know who put it out there. But y'all sold it to the people. So, the smartest thing they could have did, and other communities do this, they use their people as collateral damage, which is fucked up. But what they do is they break the community and build it, because we all know black people, they ain't gonna give. If it's a new drug, right? Oh hell yeah, they're gonna cop it from you. They're gonna buy it from you. But if you have a legal product, you've been on a straight and narrow your whole life, you ain't never want to sell no drugs, and you try to buy from me, you're lean, this and that, I'm not buying from you. A lot of us light-skinned people had that same ideology because you grew up around that, and they try to indoctrinate you into that mindset. I'm telling you. So we gotta break away from that, and that's why you gotta realize what the mistakes have been done in the past. You realize now that with all that drug money and shit right now, if they would have just stopped being addicted to fast money, these dumb motherfuckers would have community centers, rehab centers that they could have been paid for through Medicaid. Like, all that government assistance shit could have been going. There could have been black elite families, and of our light-skinned asses would have been grouped in with them anyway, like I said. So we could have light-skinned families who came from that type of environment. So a lot of us did, or that origin story that turned that around. Our family did that, turned that around, and okay, now all the crabs in the barrel, you know what I'm saying? There ain't no fixing them. Everybody can't be a boss, but we can control the circulation. We can control the narrative. We could. So okay, well, they got government insurance. Come here, get cleaned up from all the drugs and shit that we sold. We destroyed our community. We gotta clean these people up. We gotta. If you was gonna do it anyway, you might as well did the right thing. But they didn't do that. What did they spend their money on? No real estate, cars, clothes, hoes, and got nothing to show for it. This is why you don't want to be like a black person. But they didn't think on a bigger scale, and white people knew they could have did this shit. White people knew they could have did this shit. They couldn't have got everybody. Back then, they could have started a dealership. They had a good amount of goddamn money. And just kept using legit money for that. Or even had bad money in the back end and still was putting it towards a legit purpose, and they finally stopped when they was able. You know what I'm saying? There will be people with big ass mansions who's crying now that they need reparation Bitch, you already got your reparations. What did you do? You destroyed your community because they wanted you to. Blame everybody but yourself, the victim mentality that you have. You don't realize that if somebody puts something in front of you, you don't mean that you gotta use it. Like, you just so greedy and you hate each other that shit. Light skinned people, we the pioneers of this shit. We the only one who ever stood up. And being a light skinned crash dummy ain't ever got you shit. So sorry. And that's why we had to point out these mistakes. Like I said, a lot of us, it was wrong selling to anybody. You selling a pregnant woman and shit, crazy. If you really think of outside looking in, maybe if you see that going up, you ain't, not maybe, it's what it is. Like, you see that, you're gonna see that and you're gonna be like, that's just as normal. But in reality, it's not. But it's fucked up. But a lot of our light-skinned people are guilty of that. The same ignorant shit. Like I said, we were indoctrinated to this shit. We grew up in lots of time worse conditions than these people, than these dark-skinned people. Lots of these dark-skinned people have minor inconveniences, and they had the worst life in the world. So, and a lot of it was survival. Me or you, my family or yours, you know what I'm saying, with anything. But that's still not an excuse. But like I said, with all they fucked up the community, and light-skinned people are guilty of this too, like I said. Damn, like, you know how many light-skinned families who was involved in that type of shit? Or had even one family member who was involved in that type of shit, could have changed the trajectory of their whole family's life. At least the people that they rock with. You ain't gonna rock with everybody in your family, and everybody don't deserve to get put on to nothing. But we have to point out these mistakes. And I'm not saying, oh yeah, we should go fucking start another era like that. No, we don't need that. We don't need that at all. I'm saying, like, we could do this, but in a legal way, if we work collectively. We don't want that shit. Like I said, I ain't never been what that white boy was trying to say, and I ain't never tried to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to contradict myself from earlier. It's not like, you know what I'm saying, what they want us to sound like. You know what I'm saying? They want us to sound like them. But I'm just pointing out a flaw, and I point out what really happened. Like, you already lost the black schools because you fucking pickaninny motherfuckers wanted to integrate with white people so bad so you could suck their dicks and shit. Excuse me. Oh my gosh. I get ignorant sometimes. I'm sorry. But it's the truth. I'm just disrespectful as them. And it was dark-skinned people who mostly did that. Our dark-skinned people indoctrinating light-skinned kids to do that. And I'm referring to the adults who, in general, really, who was doing this, and they knew this shit was wrong. So to latch on to everything. Because of that they lost their schools and shit in the first place. Like, if you guys could have did it on your own so bad, why the fuck did you go on a white man? You just want to be around them so bad, but you hate us light-skinned people so bad. Shit is crazy. But once we get that structure, once we get that elitism in us, everybody can't be a part of that. It can't be a part of the table. But like, if we could start something, obviously behind the scenes, it's kind of hard to do that with 24/7 surveillance, like starting some real big organization shit behind the scenes, controlling the narrative and having a community that we have support us and making sure that everybody's eating. We build our own neighborhoods. because it's getting to the point where shit's about to go down and we're not organized at all. We're not nothing. We gotta put our money where our mouth is. It's just what it is. We don't have to be best of friends. We don't have to know each other. We ain't gotta know what each other look like. We don't gotta know nothing. We still gotta work together. Especially those who are putting themselves out there already, and have good products. Why are you not buying from? We should be reoccurring. If you have extra money, I'm not saying everybody's situation is different, but if you have extra bread and you're already buying soap, or you're buying this, or you're buying that, or you're buying this every month. I know a person, even if you don't really got money like that, why the hell can't you just go buy from this light skin company? The next thing you know, it don't take, and this is what people don't realize. And I'm not trying to get into business, but when it does come to business, it doesn't take, it only takes a solid 500 to 100 people, depending on your prices, to make you a life-changing amount of money. That's a 500 to 100 people. I meant to say 500 to 1,000 people. Now that sounds like a great feat, which it kind of is, to acquire a loyal base. But if we have a community that really is, and I'm not saying this just for me, it's not for me, I don't really, right now I don't, but there's no such thing as saturation when it comes to business models. It's about how you do it, and it's about that one factor. If you have a loyal, reoccurring clientele, and that's the problem with y'all. You think we gotta have a million people lined up? No, hell, even if it's everybody who's light skinned isn't just a business owner either, But it's not even just about money. We could really we have these things where we vent, or if somebody makes a separate channel, whether they showing their face or not, whatever they do, let's game it. I'm not saying that we should just pop out and start talking and trying to get our agenda out there, our agenda, quote unquote agenda out there. I'm not saying we should do that right away in our personal endeavors, but I feel because we want to hook that fan base in from them other groups until we're big enough to where we can get our group together and we can be fuck them, we don't need their support, these other groups. We gotta be smart about it. Don't just put the agenda out there when you get big enough. You know what I'm saying? Or talk about certain things when you get big enough. I'm not saying be fake, but when it comes to your personal endeavors, whether you're a gamer and you're okay, hey, look, can every one of y'all, all these pages, can you get most of your subscribers? I know every subscriber is going to be able to react to it or follow or go into one too. But as this community gets bigger and everybody starts working together and puts aside their differences, so you can get everybody at least 15K subscribers. In my opinion, I feel like this community is almost that big. Throughout, even from people who aren't anywhere near the hue of yellow, brown, whatever you want to say, are supporting us. So, but they understand maybe from seeing certain shit, they're yo, we completely right. Like I said, we all range from different skin tones. Some of us are the mid-brown, some of us are yellow, or some of us are brown and yellow. It really depends, yo. Some of us lighter than that, some darker than that. Like I said, it's this whole place. I'm starting to get tired, so now I'm just talking in circles a little bit. But like I said, yeah, it's not even about just money. Like, one is about order, like I said, power, and navigation. Where are we going? How you maneuver is one thing that's always gonna be noticeable. We have structure, they can't do shit to us. They wouldn't feel comfortable coming at us. You know, they might think they could pump their chest, but it ain't gonna work out too well when you have real structure. You know, it's like light-skinned historian, shout out to that brother, talking about Mexicans in the structure. That's real. Puerto Ricans, Dominicans who look quote-unquote soft, who may look just like you, a light-skinned Black American person, or from another area, African person, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, so-called Black American person. That's just for, like, anything purpose. We don't want to ever really associate ourselves with that title at all. Like, I know we created most of the shit, but it's better to just pull the fuck away from that. But it's just for example. You know what I'm saying? As a light-skinned American person, let's put it like that. Yeah, that's better. I'm so tired. I'm kind of forgetting shit. But, yeah, altogether, I'm not even finish the point, because I will elaborate. I'm pretty sure I will in a whole bunch of videos that I will make. I just wanted to point out a lot of things and tell you the truth about what's really going on, because y'all really don't understand what this should be. Like, okay, I'm okay with the fact that everybody's has their own way of moving, but everybody can't be complacent. And I feel like this is all that's gonna be taught. What are we really doing for this? And I'm not saying for this to benefit me, because how is it gonna benefit me? Because I ain't start anything. Should I? Probably. I'm not saying, this is what I'm saying, like, we gotta be smart about this. This is what I'm, like, passionate about as far as this topic goes, you know what I'm saying? Sorry with my, like, I'm really lethargic right now, but, as far as this topic goes, like, really, I feel like we gotta be smart. Like, they say, like, Ku Klux Klan, or you said them goddamn black people smoking. Yeah, they mostly smoking Newports and shit, but the ones you see, some black people were smoking ones. And the Newports, yeah, they apparently they tied in with that too. The mob, they're quiet about their agendas. Once in a while, they come out and they move quietly. And I'm not just talking about, like, criminal hate organizations. I'm saying, I'm using that as an example. You know, I'm not gonna get on here and start talking about real, you know, spiritual or occult shit, because I don't know what y'all really believe in, what y'all know. It's not what you believe in. I've seen certain shit, and I know certain people, so I know this is real. Like, the occultism, in certain secret societies, groups, whatever, we need to move like that. You see how the Jews move? They run the world, and they run it in a very sick way. You know, I don't know what y'all believe, not to disrespect anybody. They have some Jewish in it, but this telling you the truth. Like, everybody should know that. I'm not referring to all Jews, like I said, but fuck it. You know, they lump us in with black, with black. So But yeah, like we have to think about what's the future in this. Like, are we gonna have our own neighborhoods? Are we gonna circulate? You know, are we gonna get some money? But it's like even with the example that I made for the dollar, you know, you really thought about it. You know, if you know what I'm saying, if 5,000 people did buy even a dollar product, you know what I'm saying, from one person, that would make a difference. You know, and you know, and I'm talking about frequently. Our service, but I mean, everybody lives near each other. You gotta really think too. You're still strangers. You still gotta get in with each other. Like, everybody don't have to know each other. Do everything, you know. I'm saying, according to how you feel like I'm saying, no one's saying you gotta do all that. But you know, I feel like we should start off online. Just dividing us into a certain amount of people. You know what I'm saying? Circulate. You know, I feel like, damn, what if we really can do something different? Find different ways to put it all in. Because once you got that money, once you got that moolah, if you use it right, then we do have all these power, like, these power plays we could do. And if it's not even money, like I said, find ways for people, light-skinned content creators who are tied into this community or who join this community, because you ain't gonna really be able to help no light-skinned savior, and you really don't know if somebody light-skinned savior. So let some people find their way here. It's not really worth spilling your guts out to them, because some of them, you gotta treat them just like you would treat some of these dark-skinned folk out here. It's just the truth, because that's something they would never snap out of. They feel like they one of them, and I had to say let them feel like that. But like I said, like, let's really sit here, contemplate on what we could utilize or process. Like, you know, I feel like like I said, even if it's just flocking, making everybody flock to, somebody starts a profile, you know, starts a YouTube profile, Instagram page, 15K people, just like that. That's what I need to get to. I know I keep using the letter. I mean, that's fuck. I'm getting so tired. I'm saying the number 15K. I keep using 15,000. I don't know how I keep doing it, but 15,000 people, just like that, flock to somebody's channel. Boom. Even if you don't really fuck with the content, just support, because that's what we're trying to do. And get it, it's up there. Okay, well, now, even just click on the video, watch a little bit, get this person monetized, and let it jump off from there. And your personal shit, you don't really have to talk about light skin topics. Separate the two. Be smart. Because once you get that fan base, And then when they try to cancel you, it don't matter if they try to pull the rug from under you. Like, we gonna be able to support you, and you already gotta have the money anyway. And if you smart, you're gonna invest your money correctly. And the money is how we get this shit. This is how you build neighborhoods with light-skinned people. This is how you have your kids trained to do certain shit, combat, do this, do that, do that. You know, I'll elaborate on this subject when I'm a little bit less fucking sleep drunk. Like, but anyway, the one last thing I wanted to say is throw away these principles and morals and principles and moral codes. These motherfuckers don't stand on principles. These black people. We might have been a problem when we might have been ones because we created almost damn near everything that these people. If you ever go back and do the research, almost damn near everything that these people claim. But one big problem is that we have to drop it. You know, a lot of y'all parents have like dark skin, ignorant. A lot of y'all parents have like, whether they light skin or dark skin, have dark skin mentalities. And yeah, and lots of those, and when I say that, I'm talking about the typical ignorant dog. I'm not talking about all dark skinned people. I mean, I'm not gonna be like them. I'm just saying, like, I'm just telling you the truth. Like, they had that mentality. That's like the majority of dark skinned people who had this mentality that they know what I'm talking about. And one thing I'm never gonna agree with, and this is in reference to the last video, I don't give a fuck how you feel about my responses. I don't give a fuck you think about my comments. I seen this shit in real life. That dad in that last video, if that's what you want to call him, that sperm donor ass motherfucker, he gonna end up killing one of them kids. One that was not his crib, that was not his house, it was not his pad. You feel me? And I'm just keeping it real. Like, I'm not trying to be structured. I'm not trying to be proper. I'm telling you how I feel. Like, genuinely how I feel, and I'm saying it how I really want it. Came in there, disrespected them, put hands on them. You don't do shit for them. That's not a father. Any fucking man could do that. And these principles, morals, ideology, all that shit, throw it away. Because that has got a lot of y'all light-skinned people hurt. So respecting parents who act like that, immature children, yeah, you do that shit, you're digging your own grave. You know, black people like to, you know, be wishy-washy and implement certain shit when they want to and when they don't. You know, they just want to project they childhood traumas and shit on their kids. So it's like sit there and take it like the little bitch you are. That's what they want. And especially as a light-skinned person, when they see that you actually, because most of us are definitely way tougher than them. Really, if in reality, like, catch them without that gun, catch them without this, like, we're way tougher than them. Yeah, like mentally. Also, spiritually, it's just there. Like, lots of them, they be having mental breakdowns over simple shit like that. Like, you done went through 1,000 times worse. If you really mentally unstable people, it's crazy how mentally unstable they actually are. Like, but yeah, point being is that, like, and maybe this is something y'all don't know, and I might have just said this, like I said, I'm tired, so I'm like sleep drunk. I'm about to get off in a minute. Like, so, like, what I'm saying what I've been trying to say is that this never gonna be okay. I see a whole bunch of people in the comments bashing that child for putting hands on his father, but I would have did worse. And I believe he should do worse because his father is a threat to his life. He's a very jealous person, and I could see him eradicating everybody in the house, including the daughter that was defending him, because he's a jealous, hateful person, I could tell. So if he doesn't stay the fuck away from them, if he's gonna be walking in people's houses, disrespecting their mothers and shit, the ones that he slept with, disrespecting his kids, well then something needs to happen to him, because if he ain't gonna go to some type of, if he ain't gonna get institutionalized or something, I feel like he needs some mental help. But you know what I'm saying? Because he has self-hate. Go to jail. He needs mental help. That's gonna be worse than anything. Get fucking hit up with medicine all day. It's gonna be way worse than jail. So, put that motherfucker in mental hospital. Because he has a whole bunch of insecurities and he's projecting on this fucking kid. Hates his kid so fucking much. It's crazy. But, you know, anyway, it is what it is. Like, if whatever y'all believe, but keep believing that dumbass shit. It's about being a human. A part of that rule is one of the reasons y'all been emasculated. They ain't know y'all are tougher than them, like, and that's the reason they always trying to put a light-skinned person in their place. And when they see y'all fight back, it's like, oh damn, like, now he's really aggressive or she's really aggressive. They'll be trying you, or they look at you a different way, like, oh, he's trying to act, or she's trying to act harder than they are, because it ain't about that. It's about my respect. You ain't gonna play with me, like, and I'm not saying, let's draw the line. You shouldn't give a fuck about nobody's respect. You don't do nothing for you. Bum ass person you don't care about. You know what I'm saying? That's something I was always taught. You know? I will say that. I will say, why the fuck do you, like, I'm not gonna sit there and throw my whole life away over your respect when you ain't nobody. You the scum of my shoe. You know? So I'm not saying acknowledge that. I'm saying your respect as, like, and your dignity as a human being yourself. Like, can you look yourself in the mirror after letting this person do this to you? No, and you shouldn't be able to be. Based off your skin color, too, it's not even, like, anything they can really pull from your character. Yeah, fuck that shit, now. Come on, man. Like, this is where I got so many topics I could bring up. And I know I could formulate my words better, but I'm not here to be y'all professor, you know. I'm not here to use proper grammar. I'm not here to use, you know, anything. Shit, I almost fell asleep. Anything else, you know what I'm saying? I'm not here to speak how you want me to. I'm just here to get the message across. If you don't like it, oh well, you know what I'm saying? It just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Don't sit here and act like you don't do things that, you know, anyway. Anyway, we're going to get to the end of the video. I'm too tired for this. I appreciate y'all for getting through my little rants. Really do. I'm going to elaborate more on these topics one of these days. I'm going to try to be more consistent. Structured is not, I keep saying it's coming soon, but it doesn't seem like it is right now. Eventually I'm going to get a whole mic set up. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to change a lot, like everything. But right now it's about being as consistent as I can be, as consistent as I want to be. You know, at least I'm posting something. And like the edits on this video is gonna be shit. There's just gonna be random pictures of light skinned people or lighter brown people, and that's it. I can't really do anything else like right now. Like, it's like, that's not main priority. I'm gonna get the video out so I can get to my real life shit right now. When I say real life shit, I mean like physical in person because this is real life to me, because this is real. This is a real ass issue. Yeah. One thing I want to say though, don't ever be stoic to a person you can't reason with. And you were like, that sounds dumb as fuck. You know, I can go deeper into why that makes more sense to me. You know, we all have different perspectives. But I will tell you, damn sure don't be stoic with these damn people who going out and disrespecting in public. Like I seen the brother, I forget his name, but light-skinned brother on here. I think he's from, I don't know where he's from. I know he's from New York somewhere, but I don't know what specific area, you know what I'm saying, who, he said that when the Not Like Us shit came out, and I seen it with my own eyes, but he had a lot of experience with that and people using that to disrespect him. Like, when these people in real life, like, especially not of your group, coming in and saying that, especially as a random person, trying to emasculate you, like I said, we're not here to explain shit to them. And once you feel like it's gonna get to the point where they're gonna be able to disrespect you in a way like, oh yeah, I could get physical, because that's what happens if you don't check that shit. Get real nasty. Fuck that stoicism shit here. And if somebody is, you know, somehow waging war on you and causing internal conflict, you need to speak up. You are a human. You're a man at the end of the day. Don't do that. Don't live throughout your emotion, but don't ever let somebody disrespect. Like, that's what they feel like they could do, and you're giving them their power. Like, if it turns up being physical or something else, who gives a fuck? You bleed, I bleed. Even if we don't bleed the same color, you bleed, motherfucker. And even if you don't, I sure you got some other weakness too. You know, whatever you feel like you are. Like, whoever, if you feel like a god, fine. But I don't give a fuck. You gonna respect me. Not because I give a fuck about your respect, but then it becomes physical. I'm telling you, once you let somebody, and then you gotta fucking handle them anyway. Once the moment they feel like they can get that, you know. So don't let it get to that point. We need to start working together. I'm telling you, real structure, anonymous structure, controlling the narrative in the backgrounds, and letting us work together as a community. I'm telling you, y'all ain't gonna know. Y'all not even gonna notice any of the same shit happening that happened. Okay, look, let me press the button and go to sleep, because I'm gonna keep going. And right now it's not making any sense, because it's making sense, but it's like I'm so tired. It's like, you know, it's just anyway. Alright, y'all. Appreciate y'all. Like I said, this is real, raw, and unfiltered. Peace out.